The hottest hardware of 2023 just dropped, Paul Thurrott.
Is it the Meta sunglasses from Ray-Ban?
Nope.
Is
Keep going
it...
down further, down the terribleness.
I don't know. What is it?
Apple shipped a new pencil.
Oh, I should have guessed that. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Honestly, it took them 3 tries. I think they got it right. Little USB-C charger there. It's
Yeah,
cute.
I mean, but whatever. It's
I know.
yeah,
I don't mind. I don't. This is fine. You know, I don't
yeah.
need this kind of thing myself. I love people who do. Fantastic. How much is it? 69
It's
bucks
like
or
$70
something?
with tax or something like that.
Great. Good for them. Well, there's your iPad announcement for October, everybody. Everybody, suck it down.
Woof.
Listen, I look, we exist in this world, right? You and I and anyone else, if you wanted to, could spend the rest of your life dealing with rumors and speculation and blah, blah, blah. And some of it's interesting. But the Apple stuff, those people are doomed to never talk about anything else. All it is conflicting rumors. This is happening. No, this is happening. Oh, this didn't happen. This didn't, it just never stops. Like Apple has 2 major events every year, and then some number of, a handful of minor events that are maybe just web-based announcements or whatever they are. And the other 354 days, whatever that works out to, what do you do as an Apple blog? It's 90% rumors, and it just shifts constantly. And we're already talking about the next iPhones. Who cares? This is something they got to get out of this. This is a huge problem. It's just so stupid. Anyway, Apple Pencil. Enjoy. There were conflicting rumors about different iPads that were or were not going to happen. I love the articles that are like, the MacBooks are happening now in 2024. It's like, yeah, you've been writing for 6 months. They were happening this year.
I mean, they'll happen eventually.
Yeah, of course they will. Everything will happen eventually, including death. And how much in the future do we have to look?
You know what we didn't hit
almost
on?
None of it matters, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, what?
This one's a little bit bigger, a little punchier, which is going to be fun to watch. It's not going to be resolved anytime in the next, I don't know, death will probably come sooner. Microsoft apparently owes like $28 billion in back taxes, according to the IRS, because of transfer pricing, which is always a classic in enterprise finance, which is how you just move around profitability from little entity to little entity. And apparently the IRS is saying, like, that factory you guys spun up in Puerto Rico that only prints DVDs that have logos on them and then they can install Windows? I don't think they made all that revenue.
Yeah. This is classic Microsoft. And I mean that in the sense that Microsoft has been using accounting tricks to smooth their finances forever.
Yeah. Everybody does.
I know, but when you do it at this scale, dude.
Yeah, their scale is different, and they have the ability to pay lots of accountants.
There was a period of time, and it was that period of time that Windows 7 was the ongoing concern for those first 3 years, right? Where they literally sold an even 20 million copies of that operating system every single month. Now, they didn't really, right? But they were just smoothing it out. I'm sure sometimes it fell short. Sometimes it was really high. Whatever the thing was, and for whatever accounting reasons, and it helped the stock price, whatever the rationale was, this thing was it was almost, I mean, not the exact entire 3 years, but I mean, literally almost 20 million a month. That was their thing. That's what we do. And I don't know, I don't know the legality of any of this stuff or whatever, but this new thing, what's the term again? For what they're doing, the
transfer pricing.
Transfer pricing, yeah. This is like pushing all of your revenue through Ireland because you're getting a tax break. It has.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it has the feel of illegal.
Right.
So I don't.
Because apparently, for those who don't follow this, and I do not blame you, what they did was, oh god, this is back during the Steve Ballmer era, by the way. I mean, this is old stuff at this point.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right.
There was
which,
a
by the
factory,
way, was also
a company. I don't know if it was a different company, a factory in Puerto Rico that was printing out their DVDs, right, for Windows and other stuff. And they sold this factory, this like 85-person company or whatever, like 80 to 90% of their intellectual property rights. And so all of that licensing rights revenue went to that entity because they owned the intellectual properties of the products. And if any of that sounds to you is like, man, that sounds really weird, it is,
Yeah.
because that's what it is. And the IRS is like, you know what? You're doing that explicitly to tax dodge, which, if you're familiar with the law at all, there's a gray area and then there's letter of the law. Like letter of the law, it's technically, I think, legal, but the gray area is that you're intentionally doing this to avoid paying taxes, which then...
That's right. That's the point, which becomes illegal. Yep. So I don't know this off the top of my head, but it would be worth, you mentioned Steve Ballmer era. That was, of course, Windows 7 as well. And I think it might be interesting to look at, when did Amy Hood become CFO? Because I bet that these accounting practices were all done under the aegis, or whatever the word is, of a previous CFO. I can almost come up with the guy's name. But anyway, I bet that's part of it. It's like, different regime, different, whatever over time. I don't know.
So according to Bing, the answer is 2013, which is
right after Windows 8. Yep. So it would have been after Windows 7. So what was the date for this stuff? It was about the same time frame, wasn't it?
I want to say it was like 2004 to 2011 or something like that.
Earlier.
Those dates are not perfectly accurate, but.
And that person, I should have said it out loud, but I was thinking his name was Peter. His name is Peter. Peter Klein was the previous guy. Yep. So I'm not saying it was him. I'm not saying he's evil or whatever, but
December of 2013 is when she took over.
Yeah, and I bet of course, the thing that has happened under her is something we also see at other companies, and I only pay attention to this in the big tech world. It's possible this happens everywhere, but this is also the time, I would say the time frame, the past 10 years or so, where Microsoft has become a lot less transparent about anything. It used to be units sold, licenses sold, whatever, and slowly it's gone away. We've gotten to the point where like Azure revenue is, up 70%, blah, blah, blah. What was the previous number? Nobody knows. What they make up things like commercial cloud, which is not a business, to show some sort of a strength in a certain area. And this stuff was all done it's all been very effective. Microsoft is the second biggest company in the world by market cap today. And there are a lot of factors that go into it. But part of it is, I think, this lack of no, well, it's not really accounting. We'll call it lack of accounting transparency, for lack of a better term. But where they can just push a narrative that has nothing to do with real numbers.
Yeah.
We used to have very hard metrics that we could point to and say, this is why Microsoft is so successful. And now we have these things that aren't really even numbers, but they're things that Wall Street really likes. It looks like cloud's going gangbusters. Cloud, what do they call it? The commercial cloud was the original name. They call it something different now, but it's like, this thing's going great. And the people who actually cover the company kind of intimately are like, that thing is not a thing. They just invented that. And there are no comparables. There's no starting point. You can say it was X number of billions, and you can't ever go back and do the math. It's all completely non-transparent. And that is Amy Hood. So Peter Klein has his legacy. I think Amy Hood's going to have hers. And listen, I'm not saying illegal, but I am saying that both of these things are, I was going to say bad for Microsoft shareholders. That's absolutely not true. Honestly, it's worked out great for them. So who cares?
It's just masking the truth a little bit.
It's dubious.
Ethically
and legally is what I would say. Yeah. Without knowing the details of the legal end of it. I wish I had that much money to screw around with.
Me too.